The hell even is this, right? Like, does anybody even read these things anymore? Strangely, I do enjoy sitting with a newspaper every once in a while and getting the ink on your fingers. There's something just kind of nice and nostalgic about it, especially when I'm healthier and I can have like a cigar. That's good stuff. Which, in case I'm not right now, because my sinuses are so bad, I feel like my eyeballs are going to just launch right out of my skull and hit the screen. It's awful. It is awful. My God. Anyway, today's shirt of note, and my brain is scattered right now because of the sinus issues. First off, I have to report again next week for a jury committee type thing where I'll be questioned about all sorts of fun stuff. So anyway, I'll still be teaching. Like I said, I think it's a very, very slim snowball's chance in hell I get picked for a variety of reasons. So I'm preparing some contingencies just in case, but I really don't foresee that happening. Today's shirt is from Home Alone. This is Fuller, which, funny enough, in the movie, Fuller was Kevin's cousin, but the actor who played Fuller was actually Macaulay Culkin's little brother in real life. This is my favorite scene from the movie right here. Hold on, let me get up close. Fuller gets smashed against the wall with a chair and is pinned against the wall, and no one knows he's there. When I was a little kid, I thought that was the funniest thing I had ever seen in my entire life. So, when my wife gifted me this shirt, that was a good day. She was a little apprehensive this morning. She was like, "That's really more a Christmas shirt," and I was like, "I don't care. I'll wear it." I got a nice thick fabric one for Christmas. That's Little Nero's Pizza from Home Alone, so I'll wear that when we get closer or when it gets cold. In any case, so this assignment, this is a big one. Now, I also want to talk to you guys a little bit about the fact that Tylenol I took a little while ago actually really helped. My pain is a lot better than it was, and I'm kind of shocked. Normally, I take Tylenol, and I don't really notice that much of a difference, but I feel great right now all of a sudden. In any case, so in my face-to-face classes, we have a portfolio. And that portfolio typically is supposed to be like 60 pages of written work. And that includes things like focused free writes. I have them writing poetry right now. They do a lot of extra stuff. For the online classes, you guys have to do these discussion posts. So in a lot of ways, I kind of feel like it balances out. But this assignment's going to get kind of big for several reasons. I really want this to go over a period of time and maybe have some different iterations to it. Not to do an online digital portfolio, because I used to do those in online classes, and every time I did those, I got like death threats. These students hated that stuff. But I used to make students do digital portfolios, and you had to write like 60 pages of material and submit it. And that was before I started considering weekly discussions adding to that kind of like overall page load. But I do want this to be a little bit longer. And it's the main reason I want to do this. What I was saying last time about research being more an in-depth, involved process. Remember, we talked about abortion last time. I need to find a better subject than abortion. But I really dove into that topic to talk more about like the something that's going on right now with it, right? I talked about like how we could discuss the court cases as opposed to just our general overall opinion of this wide subject of abortion. The real goal for this assignment is to do something that I used to be really interested in back in the day. It's environmental scanning. Now, the overall goal of environmental scanning is this. Rather than having an opinion about a subject before you start writing about it, we go into the subject with very open minds and we watch what's going on right now. And we follow a subject for a little while. And we look and see how that subject develops over time. Now, that does mean that this requires a little bit more effort, and it's going to be a little bit more of an ongoing thing. The way I did this last semester was I had students write research reports occasionally where they just discussed what it was they were seeing in the news. Now, this presents us with a couple of challenges. First and foremost, most of my students are not avid consumers of news media like I am. I obsessively follow what's going on in the world. It's part of the reason why I can get in front of a camera and just, bloviate about random crap for 20 minutes, like twice every week. Okay, not quite 20 minutes. I haven't been averaging that much time. But in any case, there's a reason that I have this kind of like surface level knowledge of kind of like everything. It's just because I obsessively read stuff. Now, you guys are never going to be able to do that the way that I do it, at least not in the course of this semester. This is kind of an argument I've had with a few colleagues of mine. Like, can someone learn, is intelligence an innate trait or is it a learned behavior? I think there's a little bit of both, right? Because there's a lot of things that I do that make me this kind of like, I'm being very conceited right now, but it's hard not to be conceited about stuff when you're teaching a subject, because in a lot of ways you have to kind of be a little bit, have a hyperinflated sense of your own self-worth to actually get up in front of a bunch of people and be like, I know a bunch of stuff about this and I'm going to guide you through it because I'm an expert. So pardon me on how conceited I am for a little while. But is it possible to be as well-rounded and well-informed about like a whole bunch of stuff the way that I am? And here's the other thing too. That's not always a good thing, right? I have pretty raging attention deficit disorder to the point that it does actually cause me a lot of issues sometimes. So as I'm saying all this, keep in mind that, I'm not looking at this from the sense of, I'm in an ideal state or anything, but I think it is a good idea to practice a little bit of our information diets. I've got a pretty diverse information diet. I get information from a lot of different sources and I consider it from a lot of different areas. And I read very long form stuff and I read short form stuff. And the thing is, to kind of get to the overall point, in order to do environmental scanning, and I need to probably like print out some definitions and stuff. Environmental scanning is just you read a bunch of stuff over a long period of time and you try to find trends. You try to find stuff that's happening out in the world that you can then, like reflect on, right? It's supposed to be very neutral though. You're supposed to kind of sort of like hold off on your opinion so that you're really just more consuming information and like looking for patterns as opposed to like jumping in with, your thoughts and how you weigh in on the issue. So let me give you a few examples of this. I always have different ones because there are things that I'm always following. For me, I think the thing that's most interesting for me right now is, and I know this is not going to be a surprise to anyone how absolutely nerdy this is, consoles. I'm really interested in the console wars right now in video games. I know, big shocker, right? But the thing for me is, and I'm going to try to justify this for a minute. I own an Xbox Series S. And I love my Xbox Series S. I paid a lot of money for it so that I could have it before all my friends did. So I could be like, I have an Xbox Series S. Do you? No, you don't, because you couldn't get it. Oh, that's right. I have one. You don't. Where's yours? Oh, you don't have one. That was basically me. But I also own a Nintendo Switch, which my kids dropped and broke. And I've got to get a buddy of mine to try to repair it. So for me, I'm really interested to see exactly what's going to happen with this generation of consoles. And it's also really nice to have one that's on the newer side of things so that like I haven't had a actual modern console in a long time. We had the Switch for a couple of years, but the Switch is not exactly a high-powered gaming machine. But I'm really interested to see who's going to win this iteration and what goes from here. The only reason I don't have a PS5, and I wanted a PS5, but I decided against it, not because of like any hardware issues or anything like that. It was because I've had an Xbox 360 for years and years and years, and I bought a ton of games on it digitally. And if I bought the Xbox Series S, I could still play those games through backwards compatibility, which that was what sealed the deal for me. Like I had stuff to play on this new console, whereas if I jumped over to the PlayStation, I would have nothing to play, right? So in any case, Obviously, I follow console news. And the thing that's been really interesting to me over the past few months, being a new console owner, is Xbox Game Pass. Xbox Game Pass, I don't know what it's called over on the PlayStation side. Every console has this kind of premium subscription service where you get stuff, you get games based on the fact that you have a subscription to it. Right now, I know that I'm really rambling right now, but stay with me for a minute because you might find this interesting. Nintendo has Nintendo Online, which they've just released, is going to go up in price, and they're going to expand the amount of games that they offer on it. It's more of a retro classic subscription. Xbox has a lot of newer titles on it. They just released Back for Blood, which I haven't played yet, which I'm planning on playing. And PlayStation, I just haven't heard much about PlayStation, probably because I don't own the PlayStation. I don't get news tailored to it. If you follow news at all, you'll find that you get news based upon your preferences. So since I don't own a PlayStation and I don't look up stuff about it, it does not find its way to me. I Google search a lot of stuff about what's coming to Game Pass, and now I get alerts. The internet and technology has adapted a lot to our search habits. If you read stuff online, it's bringing you stuff that you want, which is both at times kind of creepy and both at times kind of weirdly cool because it's like it's learned you, right? But in any case, where I'm going with this, I think the winner of this current round of console war is going to be the console that offers the best and the most tailored to the user subscription service. I think it's all about the subscription service this time. I was not going to get Game Pass when I first got my Xbox. I was like, I don't need that. I mean, I'll just buy some games. I got all these games that I can play from the past. But then I got a free code for it that I only had to pay $1 for a month, and my kids got a hold of it. I'm never canceling it. I can't cancel it. There's no way. It's too good. And now it's almost like Xbox has its claws in me, right? I am so loyal to Xbox because of my experience with Game Pass and because of backwards compatibility. Now, this is not anything that I'm sitting here saying, oh, PlayStation's bad. Nintendo's bad. I love my Nintendo Switch, but I swear to God, it's made out of paper. Right? I love my Nintendo Switch. I'm going to pay like $100 to get the stupid thing repaired because I do have a very, very big love of retro gaming, right? So the thing is, I think we're going more and more and more to subscription-based gaming models where you're going to have games made for the subscription service more than anything else, which let me say something about this. I could be wrong, right? And you'll notice I'm not just hating on PlayStation here. I'm sure PlayStation makes excellent products, but my side in this and the way that I'm interpreting it is just coming from, the place that I landed in this console war. And, I'm not mad at PlayStation. It's amazing to me that people get so embroiled in these conversations and they end up being very emotional about it. You can be emotional, but I personally just don't find it very useful when I'm having a conversation. So think about what I've done here. I'm a gamer. Well, there are a lot of gatekeepers out there who would say I'm not a gamer. I'm a casual gamer. Like I've been playing Injustice and I suck at it. I need to teach. I'm going to teach now. I've taken this interest of mine and I've turned it into a bit of an obsession that I can talk about at length. And it's because I don't just play video games. I read about them. I follow them. I'm invested in it to the point that I want to be able to have intelligent conversations about the subject, right? I'm sorry. I do the same thing with wrestling. Wrestling for me is not just about enjoying the product. It's about the politics of the product. Who is successful right now? Who is on top? What wrestler is currently the one that is getting the most exposure? Who is going to be a star? Where is this particular plot line going? I've read so much about industry stuff in wrestling that when I get together with my buddies, it's not even like we're talking football. It's like we're talking politics or something. It really does turn into that. I'm an obsessive person. And so when I get out into the world and I start learning about stuff, I find it difficult to stop. That's something about me that I don't want you guys. I'm not going to say you have to emulate that because that doesn't come naturally to people. So keep that in mind as I move into this next part of this discussion. All I want you to do for this video is I want you to go read some news. Right now, we'll talk about evaluating sources next time because some sources are better than others. And you guys are probably going out onto the internet and you're probably going to be reading absolute trash. That's okay for right now because a lot of the news that I read is trash too. I would say 90% of the stuff I read online is rumors. I love rumors. I don't care if it's true or not. I want my industry rumors, right? But I've come to a place where I take everything with a grain of salt. But what I want you guys to do is I want you to go to places like CNN, Fox News, MSNBC, BBC, all these media organizations. And I just want you to kind of dip your toe in the water. What is going on right now? This does not have to be serious. Last time I did this assignment, everybody wrote about COVID-19. And that's okay. That's like one of the biggest things that's going on in the world right now. I accept that. But keep in mind, we can talk about veggie games. We can talk about wrestling. We can talk about football. We can talk about technology. We can talk about movies coming out. I'm going to see Dune this weekend. I can't wait. I'm taking my 10-year-old son. He just finished reading the book. Coffee! So good. Anyway, over this weekend, dip your toe in the news water. Keep in mind, you are getting absolute trash from these organizations. Sometimes, and this is going to sound weird, a lot of times, I like to go through some people's trash, and I like to eat some trash, right? We're going to eat some trash news. I want you just to go out there and write me, let's be ambitious. Write me 8 sentences in our current event project. Tell me what's going. I just spilled coffee all over myself. No, Fuller! Tell me what's going on in the world. Give me an idea. Be creative. It does not have to be serious. Oh no, my keyboard. Don't tell my boss I spilled. Oh no. Tell me what's up. Tell me what you're interested in. Go out there and find it. Until next time, everyone, don't spill coffee on yourselves.